I'm Peter with NationalProLifeRadio.net and ProLifeNews.tv, and I'm here with Bobby Franklin from the Georgia, you're a House Representative in Georgia, and you've been here at the IOTC, the Institute on the Constitution, and you were talking about House Bill 1, and what is that, and how is that significant to people in Georgia and America?
Well, it's significant because it actually recognizes the personhood of the unborn, declares that the federal government has absolutely no constitutional jurisdiction in state criminal law matters, and declares abortion to be illegal in all instances in the state of Georgia and punishes it for the murder that it is.
So it's not just a bill that approaches it in the sense of providing the right to life of the individual, but it's saying that if you do this act,
right,
it's a punishable crime.
Exactly, because there are approaches that want to amend the Constitution to protect all human life from the moment of conception through natural death, which hopefully every Christian would be for protecting all human life from conception to natural death. But even with that, you still have to have a mechanism. What will the grand jury indict you for violating if someone does have their life taken away? All that you have without a law is, well, you could, if someone has standing in a court of law, they could sue for a violation of their rights. But you can't prosecute a violation unless you've got a law like House Bill 1 on the books.
Gotcha. Well, I think one of the challenges in all of this is that a person in the womb hasn't really been identified or given legal rights as a person. Well, so how can this do that?
Well, it's hard to, it's easy to ignore the child because the child's invisible in the womb. But we know the child is a person, and as such, is created in God's image, therefore has rights, whether the government wants to recognize them or not. The problem is when the government doesn't recognize them, then we're under God's wrath, because bloodshed does pollute the land.
Yeah.
And we're experiencing God's wrath right now because of this wanton killing of the unborn children.
Well, I often hear people that say that the old use and abuse, keep your rosaries off my ovaries, and in the sense of the people saying, well, I'm not Christian, I could care less what you think. What does this have to do with law and the criminal justice system in this country?
Well, it's actually the bill actually sets up a new criminal offense in Georgia. So that's exactly what it does. It sets up a new criminal offense.
Which begs the question: is law religious, or is law something that should be?
All law is religious. It's just a matter of whose standard. When someone says you can't throw paper out of your car window when you're driving down the road, that's someone's religious opinion. Just like all education is religious, whether it's at the local Christian school, whether it's at the local government school, you're going to get a thoroughly religious education. It's just what religion are you going to get? All law is an embodiment, a codification of somebody's religion.
And what about in the instance of a person who's going to say rape and incest, as far as, do you have exceptions in the bill? They're going to ask.
There are no exceptions in the bill. It says something to the effect, I don't have it in front of me at the time, but that abortions in all instances are illegal in the state of Georgia.
Now, that's not just to be cold. I mean, you've got a reason for that. And what is it you tell people? Because that's one of the things that, South Dakota, that was one of the reasons that bill went down, was people said there's no exceptions.
Well, rape and incest, the child had no, typically, if someone commits rape, someone commits incest, you punish the rapist. You punish the one committing the incest. You don't punish the victim. What we've been doing with these rape and incest exceptions is punish the victim, not the perpetrator. And life of the mother, we should never try to play God. In the definition of what an abortion is in the bill actually says that a genuinely medically necessary attempt to save the lives of both the mother and the child, in which the child does not survive, that is not an abortion. But you got to try to save both. If the mother has a health problem and there needs to be surgery, you don't automatically murder the baby. Yeah. Then you get the prenatal specialists, they're in there as well, and they're doing everything possible to save the life of that baby while they're saving the life of the mother. Yeah. And if that baby doesn't live, we weep because a human life has died. But we try to save both lives.
So it is, you're coming at it from a perspective of compassion, whereas people want to interpret it as that you're being cold, that you're being cold-hearted. But it is compassion because you're being compassionate to the child in the womb
Definitely.
and the mother, avoiding further suffering.
Absolutely, because I've heard testimony, held a hearing earlier this year of woman after woman came forward to testify of how they were harmed as a result of having an abortion, how they were lied to, the health issues they've had as a result, the emotional issues that they've had as a result, and they've just been tormented because of the lies told them when they were told they needed to murder their child.
Yeah. Well, we thank you for doing what you're doing. We know it takes a lot of courage to stand up in front of people who are opposing you, I'm sure you've been approached from so many people saying, let's water this down. Maybe it'll have a better chance.
No, they've just ignored it. That's all they've done.
Okay. But, of course, that's what people want to do across the country. And typically the watering down, it's been 34 years. I don't think it's been very successful, has it?
No, and my friends who want to try to take an incremental approach forget the fact that there is no increment between the baby lives and the baby dies. There is no increment in that case, whereas there could be increments in every other situation out there when it comes to policy. There is no increment between the baby lives and the baby dies.
Gotcha. So that's HB1. What do you think about the HR 536 and the Right to Life Act?
I'm a co-sponsor of that. I think that it is absolutely imperative that that pass and get put on the ballot and ratified.
And that was written by Martin Scott.
Martin Scott's the sponsor of that bill.
And how many co-signers are on that already?
I don't know. Martin ought to have a good.
I hear it has a good number, and it's getting some
It's got
support.
a number, but as our speaker has told us, any signature more than your own is a waste of ink. It doesn't.
Yeah, the bill's already there.
It's there. It just takes one to get it in the hopper, and it doesn't take a whole bunch, and then it's just working it through the system, and hopefully enough people of the state of Georgia will contact their representatives and ultimately their senators and demand both of them.
Well, it's the right thing at the right time, so we look forward to looking it over and providing our support because we know you're doing the right thing. And I heard you speak here tonight at the IOTC. And for those of you who are watching this, we were at the Institute of the Constitution. This is the first Friday's event. So go back to IOTConline.com. Every first Friday you can see what's happening, and also you can see the great speakers that have come by and share how they've stuck their necks out. And it is sticking your neck out. When you're speaking for morals, values, and for God, it's sticking your neck out because people want to knock it off.
But it's being obedient because you're standing for the truth that the Lord's put out there.
Yeah.
And we really don't have a choice. We either acknowledge God or we've denied Him, and there's no compromise there either.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for taking the time speaking
my
with us.
pleasure.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. This is Peter with NationalProLifeRadio.net and ProLifeNews.tv, and we've been here with Bobby Randall, right? Franklin. Who am I thinking with Randall? I don't know. Bobby Franklin. See, I always do something. That's why I always look at the person when I say it. I'm not really sure. So anyway, go to ProLifeNews.tv and NationalProLifeRadio.net. You can find out more of what we're doing. We've got interviews with presidential candidates and many others. So stay tuned and watch what we're doing.